I now recognize Congresswoman Norton. Congresswoman Norton by WebEx.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. This hearing is very necessary to clarify matters that were left open when we took the vote already on this bill. Mr. DeJoy, in your testimony, you suggested that the coronavirus was having, and here I'm quoting, was a significant issue in employee availability in many, many parts of the country. If that's the case, sir, I want to know why you'd be reducing overtime. Isn't overtime even more necessary to postal employees during this national emergency, during this pandemic with so many people at home, and given what you've already testified to about the significant issue in employee availability across the country?
Thank you.
Why wouldn't overtime be necessary to make up for all of that?
Thank you, ma'am. Since I've been here, we've spent $700 million in overtime. The overtime rate before my arrival was at 13% within the organization. It's still at 13%. As I said in my opening statement, this is a continued misinformation regarding what I did since I've gotten there. I've never put a limitation on overtime.
Well, that's very important testimony, Mr. DeJoy, because in some states we're seeing 10 times the normal volume of mail. I'd like to ask about additional resources 2 weeks before the election. Is expanded allowance of overtime one of the items under consideration when you have already announced you will bring, quote, additional resources to bear in 2 weeks before the election? Does that include expanded overtime? Indeed, wouldn't it have to?
Yes, ma'am, it does. We will, the 650,000 men and women of the Postal Service are very committed to having a successful election in our role in the election. Overtime, extra truck trips, postal inspection checks, rounds in each postal processing facility.
That's very important. That's very important for the record, that expanded overtime will be allowed in the 2 weeks before the election. My next question is on a P&G Postal Service document we have received. This is what it said and why my questions were necessary. I'm quoting now the document entitled PMG Expectations and Plan. Overtime will be eliminated. There you see it before you. Again, we are paying too much for overtime and it is not cost effective and soon will be taken off the table. More to come on this. We asked your general counsel and he claimed that came from a mid-level manager and should not be treated as an official statement of Postal Office policy. So I ask you, would a postal manager send this document without some kind of word from you or from the top of the agency? Can you explain who this was and give us the name of that manager?
Thank you. I have purposely not tried to find out who that was, but there are many ways that people interpret.
You have tried not to find out who that was?
That's right. I don't know. That was not a directive from me. That there's 50,000 managers within the organization. This is one of the reasons I changed the organization quickly after the rollout of the truck schedule. There was very confusing.
Are you looking for whoever it was who jumped ahead of you in issuing that to all your to all your employees?
Absolutely.
I wish you would give that name when you find it to the chair as well. In a statement on August 18th, you stated overtime has and will continue to be approved as needed. I wanted to understand as needed, what that means. Can postal managers and employees continue approving and using overtime as they did before your tenure began, or are there any changes since you took office?
Same as from prior to me being here.
Have you issued any internal guidance to that effect? And would you provide it to us, please?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I asked, have you issued any internal guidance to that effect, that the employees can continue to approve and use overtime?
I never issued a guidance against that effect, but everybody,
We're
the
asking,
organization.
are you intending to issue any guidance to the effect?
Yes,
that
I've told the
employees-
executive team, the operations team, they know there is no different process
Madam Chair.
than prior to my
Yeah.
arrival.
Okay, the gentlewoman's time is completed. You may
Madam Chair, can I just ask that he provide you any written guidance on overtime?
Okay.
To the committee.
I make that request on behalf of the committee.